One of the reasons that companies fail, 80% of companies fail in their first 3 years of starting is no market need. What does that mean? It goes back to what I said earlier. A lot of people have ideas. They also would like to start a business, or they don't also, they want to move away from being employed and become self-employed. But that is as good as it is, but they are not really solving any problem to start with. These ideas are not solving any problem. And that's one of the major reasons that top 60, I mean, 80% of startups in Canada are failing, is because there was no market need to start with. And then the next one, of course, the obvious one, everybody knows this one. Oh, no cash, I don't have the money to start a business. And the very top one here is no market need, is a question that the Lean Startup actually helps us to solve. And that's really what I'll be showing us going forward on how I have used the Lean Startup method to actually address this challenge. So the Lean Startup method is actually based on a mindset, okay? It's based on the mindset that you start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. That's as simple as that. That is the way we can achieve the Lean Startup. That's how we can actually achieve what we call the product market fit with the Lean Startup method. So let's go to what these methods actually look like. So you have an idea, and then you basically design a concept, and then after you design this concept, you now use this concept to actually mock up a product or a service. And then you actually test this service in the market. You actually provide this service or you sell this product. And based on the feedback you get, that is, you have to measure the feedback, the response from the market. This data then helps you to learn. So what do you learn? This learning is either that, okay, you are doing great. Maybe there is something else that the market is asking. Then you can start adding those things to it. Or if it's not working, like the market is not, response is not positive, then you can either pivot to something that they are actually looking for based on the feedback you're getting from the market. So like I said, it's a controlled failure, basically, is what we're looking at here. And the process is called validated learning. So validated learning is just a big English for failure. So instead of saying that you are failing, you're actually validating what is not working and what is working. And this goes back to, I don't know, we know about the history of the bulb, Thomas Edison, that, he failed like an hour and 9 times. And they were telling him that you know what, you keep doing this thing, but it's failing. But he then told them, look, I'm not failing. What is actually happening is that now I know 999 times of how not to design the bulb, and until it got the right concept that actually worked, which led to the innovation that we have today that is called a light bulb. So this is what this concept is based on. It's about controlled failure. So it's a novel approach to the development and the innovation of new products, which focuses on speedy iteration. So when we say speedy iteration there, we do not want to wait until 5 years that we have created a product and we don't resell, we spend millions of dollars only to realize that the customers actually do not want that product. A lot of products that failed in the market were made that way, in the sense that they were just doing what the ideas in their head is what they were just trying to produce, not what the customer wants, not what the market wants. And then doing this process of this controlled failure that I'm talking about, we then get insights from the customers' feedback immediately. And that's what I mean by speedy iteration. So this feedback you are getting, you are putting it back into your design and then changing things along the way as you are making the product and to is basically it's a sizable ambition in the sense that it's not something big that you're trying to do here. Just you can just pick one little concept and or one little feature of what you actually had in your head as an idea, and then you test it. And if it's positive feedback you are getting, it means that that thing is working. So that's really what this approach is, that is called the lean startup concept. So what are the benefits? It prevents waste of building products and services nobody wants. So like I said earlier, one of the problems that makes companies or startups to fail in the first 3 years, 80% of startups fail in the first 3 years, that they are building products that nobody wants, or they are providing services that nobody wants. So to avoid that, lean startup would help with that. It also helps to get the products into the hands of the customers quicker. And you can also confirm immediately that customers are willing to pay for the product and service rather than waiting and only to figure out that, oh, this thing is a failure. You are building one little feature of that product and then going to the market to realize that, yeah, it's not working or it's working, so that you can quickly prove or disprove your hypothesis. So today you have a lot of people who want to do business, and what you hear is that, oh, go and bring a business plan, and a business plan would help you to raise funds. What you see in a lot of these business plans are just hypotheses. They are just projections, and that sometimes don't have any basis. And this is why you see that investors are not quick to approve funding, or banks are not quick to approve funding. But if you do go with them, to these banks or these investors, with something that works already, even if it's the minimal thing, they are more likely to fund your project than if you just go with some fancy business plans and you paid some thousands for these business plans on projections on things that are not that are basically assumptions. So here is the steps when you are actually implementing the lean startup. The first thing is you have to identify your target customer. This is a very detailed process. Actually, I did this when I was working on several projects, service, basically the ARC projects. I had to actually sit down with people who are having these challenges. I'm talking about those foreign trained professionals who are looking to get into their profession here in Canada. I'm gonna sit down with them. I'll go through what the challenges are, what their frustrations are, and all those type of things. And then I also know what their challenges are in terms of even what the solution is, what they think the solution is. I'm going to ask them, and I will conduct webinars and things like that. I will get feedback. And, interestingly, in one of the webinars that I did was really what kind of gave me an idea as to what the problem really is. And, we also want to know the undeserved needs as part of this process, or underserved needs, sorry. So some of the needs that they have that is not getting served. And some of those needs, you will discover it when you work with the customers, the target customers. And at this point, you would have been able to define, like the foundation of your value proposition. Value proposition is basically how you meet your customers' needs better than your competitors, right? So what are those things that you're doing differently than what the competitors are doing? Those will be your value propositions. And then you can use that value proposition to build something very simple, and you only solve one particular problem with a particular feature. And you go to the market and then test it. So you make your what we call the MVP. So MVP is a minimum viable prototype. So basically, this is like the mock-up of your solution. So you don't have to go and look for some thousands of dollars to invest in a minimum viable product, because it's just the minimal thing based on the value proposition that you define that you are now using to develop this service or this product, which you then go to the market to test it out to your customers, That way, you then get feedback, and then you iterate based on the first the slide I showed, where you saw that failed, the control failure that I talked about. You go through that process until you'll now been able to see that this product is working. And if it's not working, what do you do?